But now we're going to get to the individuals that are on the bus. They were in Little Rock this morning and heading to St. Louis tonight, and then on into Indianapolis on Saturday. But I'm going to introduce the first speaker, then he'll introduce the others that are with them. But Gerald Nicholson is the president of the International Union of Electrical Workers and the Communication Workers Local 86114 in Washington, Missouri, that's dealing directly with the clean energy technologies, and they're actually creating good paying jobs in Washington. And Gerald told me they opened up a second plant in Washington to combat I guess the wind industry, to really working with the wind industry. I think in 2001, he might correct me on that, but they've been building manufacturing parts for the wind industry for almost 10 years, and that's an amazing story in itself. But please welcome Gerald Nicholson, the president of the IUE-CWA local in Washington, Missouri.
Thanks for having me here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As he said, I'm the president from CG Power Systems in Washington, Missouri. I've been working in the power and transformer industry for the last 12 years. My company's been working with the wind industry since 2001, and recently in the last year we've started working with the solar industry. We build power transformers of every size for wind, solar, and all other aspects of the industry. You know, the clean and renewable energy and climate change legislation means work for workers in my union, in my plant, now and into the future. You know, with the increasing growth of us building a second plant to expand into small and medium power transformers, because the solar industry is getting larger, the wind industry is getting larger. You know, this is only made possible by everybody's support for clean renewable energy standard. Without that clean renewable energy standard, that business wouldn't be there for us. You know, this is something that we need to do to help end our dependence on foreign oil. You know, where I live, I drive to work every day, and on a clear morning, I can see the power plant down in Labadie, Missouri, and of course, it's a coal-burning power plant. And I see the emissions that comes out of that plant into the air every morning on my way to work. You know, and being an advocate also for, you know, because I'm an outdoorsman and a conservationist, to me, whatever we can do to clean up the environment is a plus, not only for ourselves now, but for the future, for future generations. I mean, what's going to be here 20 years from now for our youth today if we don't do something to clean up this environment? You know, I've been told many times throughout my life, growing up in a union family, my time in the service, my time as a union brother and a union president, that, you know, united we stand and divided we fall. If we don't stand together united as one voice and tell these senators that this is something that we need to do, we need a clean energy standard, we need climate change, we need things to be done that is going to protect this planet and protect our environment into the future, we don't know what's going to be here 20 years from now. You know, I'm tired of hearing people argue about, does climate change actually exist? Do we want to argue today about the science of climate change just to find out 20 years from now that it was true and see what our planet's like then? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we all need to stand together to preserve the environment for the future generations and for ourselves. You know, if we stand together as one voice, we go up there and we tell our senators that this is what we want, and that, you know, we don't care if they're worried about getting reelected in 2 years. If they don't stand up and do what people want right now, there's not going to be a reelection for them in 2 years, and they need to realize that. They need to look at the big picture and not worry about the politics of it.
Hi, my name is Peg Lewis, and I am a member of the Steelworkers Union. I have been a steelworker for 24 years. I'm from Hastings, Michigan also, and I want to thank you all for the opportunity to come here and speak to you today about renewable energy. First, for me, it means jobs. And the current unemployment rate right now in the United States is 9.6%. We have all been hit hard by this recession, especially the working class. My hope is that clean energy will help revitalize our economy by promoting and creating jobs in many sectors of our communities. These jobs should pay a good wage with benefits. Without good wages for families, and it's really difficult for people in the community to spend money, and so your community won't grow and it won't thrive. Renewable energy promotes jobs in business, in education, and technology. It promotes a good environment for us and for future generations. We have the opportunity right now to advance the economy and to advance the working class and to better our environment. I urge you to support clean energy legislation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you very much for allowing me to be here with my colleagues. I also am from Hastings, Michigan, and I work in the plant with PEG. I've been a steel worker for 31 years. And living in Michigan, as we all have heard, jobs have gone, whether they've gone overseas or where, just they're gone. And before I begin, again, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. But I guess what we each have in common is not only our future, but the future of our children. And unemployment, as you know, is at record highs. It's time to create, and sustain good, payable American jobs. And I believe renewable energy is the way to begin. Today and for the next few weeks, as you see on our bus out there, we're traveling to many different states. There'll be several more joining as we leave. And the climate and clean energy is what it's going to take to create these. It's time to cap carbon emissions, develop renewable energy, and put a stop to the outsourcing of the American jobs to China and overseas elsewhere, because we have over 2 million jobs that could be created right here in America itself. And why not let us and our children in the future have these jobs instead of them going overseas constantly? Simply put, it's just a way to create good American jobs. Whether they're steelworker jobs, whether they're teachers, transit workers, whatever the jobs may be, teaching and promoting good American jobs. And we need to do this today. And I guess my final message is, let us tell our senators it's time to move America forward, and let's not stop until we succeed.
Well, they usually make me go last because I'm long-winded, and that way most of the things have already been said. My name is Mark Mulholland. I'm from local 1915 out of Fremont, Ohio, and the whole bus trip, the whole idea, the job's not done. These senators went home for the summer, obviously, and there's so many people out of work. I guess I don't understand why they did. So we decided to take this mission, this bus trip across the United States, and stopping in 17 states. I guess about 3.5 weeks that we're on the road doing this, to bring the message out to them, since they're vacationing, I guess. There's about 4 million people out of work right now, and as you heard, the unemployment rate's horrid. It's 10%. It's probably not been as bad since probably the Great Depression, and it just doesn't seem like they're working hard enough to do anything about it. And they have the opportunity right now to pass some comprehensive legislation to put a lot of people back to work, and not only helping our economy tremendously, which with coming across the country from LA, we've just basically seen a lot of devastation, a lot of factories closed, people out of work. I come from a really small town, and I work in a factory, so I'm not real apt at doing the public speaking thing, but I'm trying real hard. Where I work at, we build air louvers, which are everything outside of buildings, inside of buildings. We just recently started building solar air louvers, which affix to the outside of any building. We do large buildings right now, but we're in the process of doing also small buildings. And the air louvers will open and close with the sun. They're solar, and so they help keep the building cooler in the summertime, warmer in the wintertime. Also, grabbing the electric to help power the building, so also helps shut your electric costs down, and the horrible, like you've heard, the absolute horrible coal burning industry, which is something else we're asking these senators to do, is put some legislation out there to cap off the coal burning industries. I really believe, at least in my heart, This is not a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is an American issue. They battle up on the Hill often. That's what I do for the steelworkers. I'm a congressional coordinator for the state of Ohio. So normally I'm on the Hill, going to these senators' offices, going to these congressmen, and it's a one-on-one thing. We try to go in there, we try to get them to pass legislation that helps us out, creates jobs, and helps clean the environment up. I'm just absolutely at a loss. I'm so passionate about this whole situation. It is why I'm one of the few that have decided to do the entire bus trip from start to finish. And when I think of what they do up there, that they bicker back and forth, I mean, a lot of this legislation has been put forth from the Republicans, and now that the Democrats have the say, the majority in the House and in the Senate, now the Republicans think that the stuff that they started in the first place is a bad thing. So I guess I don't understand the whole bickering thing all the time. I would like to thank everyone. I would like to also say that the job is not done, and it's not done on Capitol Hill, and it's not done with us. We need to contact our senators. We need to contact our representatives. If you don't know how to do it, it's really easy. You go online. If you can't get online, every public library, you can go online, get the information, get the phone numbers, get the addresses, write these people, call these people, bug them until you can't bug them anymore, because they got to get the message across that if we don't do this now, time's running out. We don't have time to bicker for 2 years about it on the Hill. It needs to be done. It needs to be done now. Thank you very much.
I know I've probably been with you in Senator Brown's office before, but you know, he's one of our great people that we can respond on. There's no doubt about that. And there's a number of people in this room I know have gone and visited Senator McCaskill personally. I know I've been in there probably a half a dozen times, and we've had groups of steelworkers in to see her, to talk to her about this legislation. But I ask you to continue to do that and to continue to call her. You know, talk to Corey Dillon. I think Corey handles the environmental issues for Senator McCaskill. And if you can get a small group together, 4 or 5 people, get in front of Corey, and if Senator McCaskill's available, that's just a plus. But I know we're working with some manufacturers locally here in the Kansas City area, and also in the St. Louis and southern Missouri, to where we're hopefully trying to get her to sit down and the manufacturers actually see what's happening, knowing that, you know, there's a big benefit to comprehensive energy legislation. So we ask that you continue to put the calls into her, write her, and visit her if you can in person. Thank you for coming out tonight. We appreciate it.